Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media, and thank you for attending to our call at such short notice. As a preamble to this statement, I will crave your indulgence to have you listen to a very brief period of the over 2-hour tapes that have come to our notice. Please, if we may have the tape. It's important we listen to the tape because it sets the background for what we are going to talk about this afternoon.
Thank you for the kind of work we are doing and the challenges that we have had to go through the last few days. I myself, I call it a baptismal of fire. Because people in my shoes really appreciate what we went through. See,
you can hear
first of all,
the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Fosuampof, speaking.
The party was aware that NPP will always resort to violence when they go to by-election. The scale and the combination of state security forces against a party has never happened in the history of that. I have gone to by-elections. You know, you have most of you. It is always either the NPP group against NDC group slugging it out, and then the police showing a little bias here and there. But for you to see the level of deployment, the sheer numbers, the firepower, and of course the fact that these were not trained security personnel. We take intelligence very late the previous night when they went and recruited people from the organizer came last to Sanko where we were in jail and tell us here they planted and others the kind of weapon that they distributed. What happened in Abuja? People they pick them there. So we pick all these things. And we have some of our colleagues and people there. And the plan they were hatching and the extent to which we wanted to go. If you have all this information, we thought that if the movie on neutralized, it would be late in the evening when they realize they are not winning and they want to use. But they did everything, including completed ballot boxes, which were going to be put in military people and others in the heat of the when they come and they want to, as if they want to restore balance, they take it and then we have all those information. So we thought that look, this thing will go late. So let's watch how it begins. Some of our security guys, I don't want to mention them, they try to do something together. But when the thing started, the great activity came. In fact, if you were with me, when I went to Labour Hospital and saw the blood flow and the life-threatening injuries, my worry a little was the fact that in situations like this, you can disagree with the decision, but you don't have to challenge leadership decisions. And in the middle of this, some people decided we should have this person. For me, it was the most unfortunate thing that happened. Because when our people have been moved down and they are being killed, the leadership has given a certain direction. We need to. There was pressure away from some angles that have changed the process. I will never change the process. I spoke with a lot of people and said, this is a decision that I believe is in the interest of the country. I have had calls from senior police officers who said that we salute you. That this is the time that we are going to build the real faces. The police are not happy because they have been trained. They have a reputation to protect. You are not to give people on the streets. You put police uniform on them and you are giving the police back play. So there are several police people who are not happy. And you see, it is also shifting the support of the police back to us because you know in 2016 the police were against us. So That is the other aspect in the DC chair. You see, we must vehemently oppose to it. And when who has started reflecting on the whole process, there are people who initially angry with. When we went to hell, we said, oh, this one, it is you, it is NPP, NDC, your usual tax. And then I said, look, but I said, no, you know. And I want to assure you that as long as I be the leader of the party, my approach to elections and security has completely changed from there. And we need to marshal all the human and material resources. Yesterday I was speaking with him and I said, look, we have to get to a driver cop, probably one of our retired security people who can still drive and at the same time give you protection. Some covert operations. We'll go after them. But we will not go after them face to face. We have to use tactical approaches to make life very uncomfortable. We will target some people and we will let the people know that their life is in danger. And then while they know their life is in danger, they themselves will be careful. As for that one, I want to assure you that we will go all out. When it comes to this game, we are better than them. And we will not, the civil society organization, religious organizations, especially the Peace Council chair. For the first time, I will endorse insulting
NUX mode.
You have heard for yourself. Today is indeed a watershed day for democracy in Ghana. The expectation was that we wake up this morning to congratulations. Congratulations from the NPP to former President John Dramani Mahama for winning the NDC presidential primary, and then the NDC leadership for managing to hold an electoral congress in the teeth of numerous challenges. As you hear on the tape, they had other things in mind. It has turned into a bitter-sweet day. Bitter that confirmation has come from the current NDC leadership itself of plans to actively weaponize. When you weaponize an organization, it means you put it in a state where you can use it to cause mayhem and create violence and disorder, overturn the state. They are weaponizing their political party and to put it on a path, literally to becoming an internal terrorist organization. You heard them. A coordinated plan of kidnappings, physical and verbal attacks, and infiltration of the security services. Indeed, all the while the NDC leadership were telling us they don't trust the police, they were in cahoots, according to them, with the police leadership. This is what they are telling us. They said on the outside they didn't trust the police. On the inside, they were in cahoots with the police leadership. This is what they are telling us. So, Kidi Mahama intends to lead a violent extremist organization in his quest to become leader of this nation. For what purpose and to what end? Fortunately for us, the day still remains a bit sweet because, by the almighty grace of God, blessed by the very first line or the first stanza of our national anthem, the plot has been exposed. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. Yes, our nation will remain great and strong because there's a responsible leadership in the NPP willing to put every political advantage on the line, every single political advantage, and do the right thing for the security, growth, and prosperity of this country. We are here to serve the people of Ghana with all the humility, integrity at our command. Many, including the political leadership of the NPP, were baffled by the NDC attitude to the events of Ayahuasca West Waka. You will recall that they insisted on some apparently pointless arguments with the EC, including court cases about the date of the election and the authenticity of the voter register, right through to threatening to pull out of the election if their demands were not met. And it is always their demands. Their version of events is the only version. You heard on the tape, Uzoan Pofo telling the world their version of events. If he had all this knowledge and intelligence, why did he not inform the security services and the police leadership whom he assures us on the tape he was dealing with? So, what did they do? They ended up escalating the Labawaleshi incident into a full-blown international situation. Non-existent deaths were alleged, and a deliberate picture of violence put out. The infamous boot for boot and superiority in the use of violent statements were made by the former president, now candidate of the NDC. And he proceeded, Greedy Mahama proceeded to lead boot for boot walks, whilst his general secretary, the current leadership of the NDC, organized a demonstration in support of boot for boot, supposedly against violence in Ayawaso, something that they had created out of their own imaginations. Worst of all, the NDC presidential candidate had a briefing for some members of the diplomatic community, where he falsely tried to paint a picture of insecurity and violence in the country. It can be deduced from the way the boot for boot policy was announced from faraway Volta region that presidential aspirant Mahama then must have known and been part of the orchestrated effort to create the false appearance of insecurity in the country. Greedy Mahama ought to have condemned and helped to contain the violence rather than hyping it up. That he chose to escalate it all the way to the international community with the aid of false videos shows that Greedy Mahama was indeed behind the move to destabilize the country with false violence allegations. And that, at the end of the day, he was likely to be the beneficiary, since he wanted the international community to come in and sympathize with him. And indeed, we are proudly told, as the tape rolls out further, that they are happy that the EU, they have managed to confuse and convince the EU, and that they believe the EU will pull out of financing the 2020 elections in support, of course, of government's own efforts. That is the extent to which Greedy Mahama and the current leadership of the NDC, led by the pliant chairman, will go. Ladies and gentlemen, why this greedy and violent lust for power at all cost? Why sacrifice the nation's honor and dignity for political power? This greedy lust for power can only be to create, loot, and share the resources of this dear country of ours. Of course, the NPP cannot sit by and allow these events to go without comment, particularly since from the beginning, we kept telling you that the events were being deliberately orchestrated, which the NDC denied. Yet, the very hawks the NDC denied were the ones who shot and killed a person in cold blood, may his soul rest in peace, right in the midst of an executive meeting in the Ashanti regional capital. The chairman was there, the general secretary was there. They are still in denial. The president of the republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, chose the path of national stability, security, and peace. He set up a commission to put the matter of politically related violence to bed once and for all. And he has gone further to demand that the party, the NPP, of which he is a part and which gave birth to his government, should extend an invitation to the NDC to root out politically related corruption once and for all. Not only have the NDC refused to participate in the proceedings of the commission, they have also gone ahead to establish preconditions for the meeting that every single Ghanaian is demanding. They would rather not disband the Hawks, Azoka boys, and all the other boys they have, because those boys are an integral part of the party, and they have told us as much. The revelations on the tapes have become public knowledge, and it explains the entire attitude of the NDC. Don't forget that the national chairman of the NDC, Mr. Ofosu Ampofo, is a serving elder of a much respected Christian congregation in this country, and he is the one revealing the trend of lies and violence that the NDC intends to unleash on this country in the coming few days. And of course, as a prelude to 2020, and possibly according to them, within the 2020 election. I just want to re-emphasize, on the tapes, the national chairman of the NDC is heard planning to integrate thuggery into the NDC party fabric, subvert police and security service leadership, target people for assassination. The NDC chairman is setting up the NDC party to target people for assassination in this country of ours, and to kidnap people, and generally to threaten the lives of senior members of the NPP and civil society at large. He is heard endorsing a campaign of lies, insults, and threats against the immediate past presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, and now chairman of the Peace Council. A serving elder of a recognized Christian congregation in this country, head of a political party, is heard telling his party that he now endorses a campaign of calumny and lies against a past presiding bishop of the Methodist Church and chairman of the Peace Council. He didn't end there. He also threatened the head of the Electoral Commission with the same thing, lies and threats to a person. And of course, as I've already stated, the President of the Republic received his fair share of the threats and lies. To cut a long story short, these revelations have broken public trust. Trust is at the heart of electoral politics and leadership. The deliberate insincerity and mendaciousness of the current NDC leadership, including the newly elected presidential candidate who initiated boot for boot, calls into question whether they are fit for purpose. Indeed, in modern governance, a person ought to be fit for purpose. Are the current NDC leadership, including Greedy Mahama, fit for the purpose of leading the NDC into the electoral contest of 2020? The purpose for a public call to leadership is a duty demanding utmost integrity and trust. The preamble to the 1992 Constitution demands that leadership preserve the stability of our nation. And I'll crave your indulgence to read the preamble. It's a very short one. It says, "We, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of governance which shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity, in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration and affirmation of our commitment to our national, we the people of Ghana, our national commitment to the following principles," very important: freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. assassination and kidnapping is not freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. The principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people. The sovereign will of the people is not to murder and kidnap your political opponents. The principle of universal adult suffrage, indeed, everybody is entitled to vote, is their attitude of intimidating the leadership of the EC and civil society going to lead to a situation where everybody feels entitled to vote. The rule of law. Listen to the chairman of the major political party planning to subvert the rule of law with murders, threats of assassination, and kidnapping. Above all, the protection and preservation of fundamental human rights and freedoms, unity, and stability of our nation. I dare say, and arguably so, that until we get to the bottom of this matter, this nation is not stable. Until we get to the bottom of this matter, this nation is not safe. Until we get to the bottom of this matter, Ofusu Ampofo and his ilk, including Greedy Mahama, don't intend to allow peace to reign in our country so that the rule of law will bring prosperity to all of us as we so desire. They have found themselves out. The leadership of the NDC have found themselves out. They have exposed themselves to the nation. Ayawaso West Wagon was built on nothing. The whole brouhaha about Ayawaso West Wagon was built on nothing. And today, the deliberate, orchestrated lies and crafted events have crumbled into nothing. This is the worst case scenario of the good, the bad, and the ugly. What has happened is bad and ugly. Right-thinking members of the NDC ought to move fast and distance themselves from this shameful leadership. Those in the NDC who believe in an ideology must rise and demand resignations. All those culpable must account to the NDC first and to the nation so that they restore their moral right to participate in the decent politics of this country. As for we in the NPP, we will continue to espouse the rule of law as a basic pillar of our democracy. We shall follow the example of Prince Abudani I, our President of the Republic of Ghana, who has demonstrated distinguished leadership and supreme political will in meeting the real challenges of our time. And these are two major challenges. Corruption is an issue. Faced by that, the president has put enormous independent prosecutorial power in the hands of a public servant of known integrity. Nobody can manipulate him. Try influencing him, he will write to the media and put your name there. That is the person the president has chosen to put the future of corruption fighting in. And that person is a demonstration of real political will on the part of our president. Politically related violence is an issue. The president did not duck and hide. He accepted that the buck stops on his table. What did he do? He set up a public commission of inquiry which has grilled all the senior security chiefs of this country. His purpose to bring politically related violence since independence in this country to an end once and for all, so that in future we can have debate instead of blows. The president is decisive. He's an intergenerational politician. His policy vision transcends elections. For elections, the president believes that going forward, ideas rather than violence and bullets should hold sway. Ladies and gentlemen, in lieu of a better time and occasion, we take the liberty to congratulate the newly elected leader of the NDC. We ask Greedy Mahama to reconsider his political philosophy of boot for boot and take clear and public steps to rid its party of the thuggery being embedded into its fabric. Ghana is hungry for progress. and he must assume the humility to divorce himself and his party from the appearance of deliberate and orchestrated lies and the use of politically related violence for his benefit. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we ask all civil society organizations and citizens of this country to take advantage of the open and bold leadership offered by the President of the Republic on the matter of politically related violence. Please participate freely and frankly in the work of the Commission and join a healthy, lively policy dialogue towards election 2020. But lest we forget, to the extent that the party has exposed itself, the NDC is still not an alternative to decent politics. We believe the nation is going forward. The NDC better wake up, listen, and follow. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Director of Communication. We'll take 3 questions. Haka. Yeah.
Right. Good morning. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I've got a number of questions to ask, but let me start from the last one. You said that the NDC is not an alternative to a decent, I forgot what you used, but the question is that the president had asked that you invite the NDC to discuss modalities, how you can disband party elections. With what you just said, can one therefore conclude that the NPP wouldn't extend that invitation because you not to have trusted them? And then 2, have we verified that indeed the audio we are listening to is that of the chairman of the NDC, that's the leadership of the NPP, as we speak, has scheduled a meeting on the matter of the invitation, because the leadership have scheduled their meeting, and this matter has happened before that meeting. I believe the leadership of the NPP will remain progressive. I believe the leadership of the NPP will insist on the right thing being done. It is not for the NPP to pull back. It is for the NDC to accept that they are wrong, to accept that violence is not good for this country, and to accept to disband and remove from the fabric of the NDC the thuggery that they intend to unleash on this country. We do not believe threats of assassination and kidnapping belong in the dialogue of this country going forward. And we will not pull back. We will still want to have dialogue and ensure that we clean up what we have in the country. Yes.
My second question was the authenticity. Just to add on to what the respected Director of Communications said, the National Chairman of the NPP also spoke to the Chairman of the NDC 2 days ago. He also spoke again yesterday, and he also spoke to him this morning. The NPP is making effort, as the Communication Director said, for the 2 national chairmen to meet at their level and draw out the parameters and the modalities. But as he also said, all these calls were made before this whole full-scale expose. Nonetheless, and as also you rightly reiterated, we won't pull back, but it's also up to the NDC to also accept that they will also be part of the problem, a major part of the problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, then I had a second question about the authenticity of the. It will be established as we go along. You heard the voice clearly. Nobody needs to tell you. And I hear Kokubwai has authenticated it. Mr. Parker. 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 Mr. Parker.
Parker, he didn't say it was doctored or they are not his words.
So he said they are not his words.
But the
They are whose words?
Parker, don't worry, we won't tell you. But his
Question overruled.
deputy is also saying that, oh, that is your national chairman, and they support the content. And that he was in the meeting himself. There's another senior journalist whose voice is
Mr. Parker, this is over a 2-hour tape. If you listen to the entire recording, you will find other supposedly very responsible voices on that tape. The ramifications are enormous. Enormous. People on that tape representing the political party in other responsible spheres of this government. And it is a matter that we must take on the chest. It is a matter that the NDC must come out and accept mea culpa and go out there and restore their right to participate at that moral level in the politics of this country.
So the chairman should resign.
Thank you.
I believe the chairman should resign.
I would like to say, since we go on hold of this report, have you intended it to the police investigation department for them to commence investigation to pick up the military characters that were involved so that something can prevail in our political by jumping into the media to ascertain? I think we don't have any proof that it is the voice of the chairman of the opposition national.
We are working with the police.
My name is Mel from David. From the perspective of the party, since the Ayahuasca was shooting, how would you assess the image of the Ghana Police Service in the national security?
That is the very interesting thing we are faced with. You heard the chairman say that elements in the police, he was in touch with elements in the police. You heard him say that the police are coming to their side. You heard him say in 2016 that there were issues of trust with the police. In other words, the chairman is deliberately aware that the NDC intends to manipulate the police services for political ends. All that the chairman was alluding to, at no point did it appear as if the NDC was helpless before the police. At no point. He rather demonstrated a certain confidence in his relationships with, according to him, senior officers. Senior. He used the word senior, not junior, not just police. He said senior officers of the police, and that those senior officers are unhappy and want to come to their side. So he's telling us that he's preparing to unleash assassination, kidnappings, and other nefarious activities which probably they have already started and which are creating the impression of insecurity, and that in doing so, they will still have the ability to be in bed with the police. And I believe the leadership of the NPP don't believe the police can be that cruel to the people of this country. The police are a state organization. The police are here to serve the nation, and I have confidence that the police will step up, particularly in the light of the commission that has been set up. We expect interesting recommendations and other issues to bring our society together around enhancing the capacity and ability of our security services in general, to protect the state. The police must protect you, the police must protect me. The police must protect the NDC, and the police must protect the NPP. The police must protect civil society, and the police must protect everybody within the territorial area of Ghana. And indeed, it goes beyond Ghana because they are members of Interpol. The police protect us beyond our borders. We will not accept politicization of the police. We will not accept underhand infiltration of the police services. And we ask the police leadership to be strong and to serve the state.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you.
Some have made a plan for my name is Isaac. I work with PCFM. Some have made a plan for the immediate arrest of the national chairman of the NDC with respect to the statements he's made for further interrogation. Do you agree to that he should be picked up for further interrogation?
We will work with the police. It depends on the police in terms of their mandate. We will not tell the police what to do. But whatever we have at hand, which is now public knowledge, we will formally work with the police on.
Okay. Okay.
Will you then submit the audio to the commission for inquiry into the violent?
Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Director will do the tree. Thank you. Thank you.
Nnuanom ne adɔfo, mo nyinaa mo ate deɛ asie sɛ mpanyimfoɔ a mo da NDC ano ɔmo ne ɔmo mampanyi a mampanyi dada nansen a ɔmo asan akɔpa no sɛ ɔmo da kuo na no na ondi ɔnkan na yɛnkɔto aba sɛ ɔmo fa adwen kokoam esum mu sɛ ɔmo bɛda nhyehyɛeɛ bi adi ama kurom ha ayɛ hu. Wɔn bɛkunkum nipa, wɔn bɛtaataa nipa, wɔn bɛdi mpanyinfoɔ atɛm, wɔn bɛhyɛ da edi mpanyimfo atem omo di hu bi be hye electoral commissioner emu na o ma ye nhihye bi ama krom ha aye se dia aha ehu no se be ya abato bredu a omo no benya ho mfaso aya waso wes wo gombai asem bi esi ewo ho yehu ya ne se asem na yeho yati ya ne se omampanyi dada John Mahama si afedie abato asem bi ebebe bia no sebe woko no boot for boot na eba tutrasem eni mojasem ni ntokwa wo amanyo sem mudia wote so wono ne te so enti NPP enti menyahwe na chese o sise saade na omye ne sabre no no mu Kenya ya waso wadi twitwa tro se wunipa wunum ni ade ama papa ne san kogina amanonifo anim abrofo a omti krom ha omo wen omo krom ha se wodi infoni su ko kire o mana infoni na nya nokre se krom ha basabasa asi na ha ehu ne ntimi ntina ha ni nyina no na ukenya ya na chese de ompe so omo ya ne se omdi ehu bi ene ayemhihie bi ba krom ha se be ya 2020 no edom be ka se krom ha ehu di bi krom mpie enkoto aba na abato no ayebasa na omanya ho emfaso yes Cindy akoso ya waso weswogo ani suban ya omuda na di ni e de to eye mfanto ho to suban a omampanyi na na do ada na di asemu aya waso weswogo ba ya edaso entemu wa e baitre na na do say media mempe basabasa mempe tutrasem mempe urukasem bia bio enti ade nye ne ne siye enya ya waso weswogo na he ase na emomu no efrititi mempese ebetna na atoa yen yakoye daache enti memati ma pa badwafo bi omani moduro omani mo nyam okrom ha se omo nkwohwehwem na yen nyina amfa nya adwuma masan atonkrama mama nyokuo se omo mfre NDC fo omo no mo ntrase ne ensiesie asem no si e kasai NDC fo se abadwafo no o matrase omo nko omanim afei so to eto nsa afre omo no omba abonten be ka se gesi eyi sebe emrante bi wo yekuo no mfiri mu ansa na omkika kan sempi hwe dia bedadie se wo mo na mabonten ka se yenim ho hwe yeni obi a oyetutura sem wo yekuo mu se ni se no na wo mo hyede mu ye nsusuye se omo besiesi omu kuo na ama etutura sem nko a na omo de beye omo besiesi kuo no e de abaye tutura sem omo de betata yen omo de bepaye kuyen omo de paye chiesie na ebusuafo ye mahihye wo omo be di atematwantra to ye so na kuo no maye hye se na omo abo omo de omo beye nie ye de wogidie pa se omampanyi dada Mahama o hya ase ono omo na eye ono a na esoso so free so omo to aba omo kuo imu a ono a na watuetu esika hunahuna nkrofo saa na saa nipa ya na yehu omo so omo bedi NDC kuo na nim no wode omo besi ho ena omo so ye eniema a ebeboa na ma ono nso agina na yebusa se adenti na womo aka abomu a chinchinia omo pe Ghana tumi so mbe say Ghana o so nipa bewu se to trust embe ko so inform no mpese chinchinia omoji Ghana tumi ya ugidi bi se saade no dwa chedi no aban no saade dwa chedi no nti no mo yesa ompese ombeji tumi no no mo che omani sika no edi se de yehu no bibia atwa mu esre wo NPP de ya boa ye ho se ye besom NPP de ye mampanyi o se de ha man no be ye ho adwuma hwirim ne keta se shep ne pro ye ha man no wakofa obi asebi no odom NDC ye nyina enim ne suban no de na betena ho eno ama ntumi kese se obi obeye biribi ache no onsro he obaso obesom man no ama de daache wa amaso obesom man no afa enani kine na yekoto aba sebi wakoyetu trasem no afa de enya ne dia oyi dwirim na free ho a de ha ye party true say ene etu trasem e wa manyosem Ɔsi ɔno ɔte sɛ nneɛma ɛkɔ so no wanka sɛ ayɛ waso wɛso wɔgɔn yɛwie nti yɛntena hɔ ne yɛndina bobo yɛntwene daawere wɔ TV so ne radio so na ayɛ yɛnyɛ na ayɛ na dawe wobɔ me na gyina wobɔ me na ne rekyi wobɔ me ne ade wate abadwafoɔ so mu nsiesie wasan aka kyerɛ akuo no mmienu sɛ wɔn ntena ase na wɔn nsiesie wohwɛ a wɔni kandini a ɔwɔ baabi ɛde yɛkɔ n'ani so ade hunu ɛne mfoni a wɔatwa ama man no ɛtrɛ ɛso wɔno na sɛbe woka sɛ yɛndi n'akyi a megye di sɛ ɛbɛboa ɛno nti yɛn nso yɛntumi ntena kurom a sɛ ɔno nko a sɛdeɛ yɛn hyehyɛ yɛteɛ no NDC foɔ ka ho ɔmte ɛfɛn sɛ mmarahyɛ bidwam nti ɛwɔ sɛ wɔn nso siesie wɔn ho yie na yɛn ka sɛ yɛnyi ni sɛ NDC foɔ nyinaa na ɛte sɛ wɔn chairman yɛnyi ni sɛ NDC foɔ nyinaa na ɛpɛ sɛ wɔn de atuatua sɛm ɛbɛyɛ daa aduane ɛwɔ kurom ha yɛnyi ni sɛ NDC foɔ nyinaa na ɛpɛ sɛ wɔn kunkum nipa ɛtaataa nipa ɛsɛe nipa sɛ bɛyɛ nkunimdie ɛbɛbɔ wɔn afam wɔn wɔ NDC mu a wɔn nte saa no yɛsɛ mo nkenya mo ho mo mpagya mo mu na mo nkyerɛ sɛ mo da so no yɛmmra pɔn wɔ kurom ha yɛn nyinaa yɛka ho bi NDC foɔ yi mo nsɔre deɛ ɛkɔ so no ɛnyɛ fɛ mo ntumi nka nkyerɛ mo kuo ntitena ni sɛ deɛ wayɛ no wɔntwe nsan anaa wɔnsi fam na mo nsiesie mo ho ni yɛntimi yɛntwe daawere yɛntena ase ne yɛadwene man no ho a na akɔyɛ adwentoatoa adwenhyia na nkɔyɛ esum mu matim makao mabɔ wapiraw esum mu adeɛ kyɛ ma bɛpepa ma no aka sɛ ɛnyɛ me na meyɛɛ yɛbɔ ɛde yɛasɛm ba awie no yɛbɔ owura dwɔmaama aba so sɛ watumi akɔdi nkonim ɛwɔ abato a motoyɛ ɔmo yɛ ɔmo kandini na ɛyɛ yɛ ahohoahoa yɛni da soɔ ne sɛ yɛbɛma nakɔ aba ɛne gyiem ne yɛtumi ne no ayɛ adwuma ɛnso akɔ aba wei deɛ asɛm a yɛate ne yɛasom no anyɛ yɛ de ɛyɛ akɔ aba bi a yɛsan sɛ ne sɛ ɔmfa akyɛw pa ɛnhyia maa yi ɔmfa akyɛw pa ɛnti ne ho mfiri deɛ ɛkɔ so no ɔmfa akyɛw pa ɛnsrɛ sɛ so wayɛ ka nana bi sɛ ɔde ekum mununkum basabasa bi ɛba kuro no so a watwe asan ɔde saa atwa pa ne ba ɛne ebenya ahotɔsoɔ sɛ ebetimi ne natena ase ɛde abobo adwene man ho sɛ bɛyɛ aman ebenya kan korɔ sɛ de yɛ nyinaa yɛpɛ no da mo ase nyame hyira yɛ nyinaa